Gosh, it's Friday again. And for me, it's, oh my gosh, it's Friday again. I can't believe it's Friday already. It was just like yesterday I was here. This morning I got up and I was stretching my long self. I said, oh, I can take another 10 minutes. I look up at the clock. I realized, oh, shoot, yeah, I have to be on the radio. Had to jump out of bed and get ready. And it's the stress of life that make things so different. Normally, when you get up and you laze around and you can smell everything, you test how hot it is outside and you feel the breeze in your face. It's such a good day. But when you have to get up and rush, it's a big difference. And then I understand, I measures I tend to take the time out to measure. Stress really is a killer. Yeah. You can't seem to, everything is out of coordination. You have brain fog. Before you rush, you were able to think about what you're going to do. As soon as you start rushing, you can't think about what you're going to do. But I suppose that is what life is. It's October 22nd. October is not slowly, but it's sneakily slipping away. It was the month where we celebrated lots of things. It was Breast Cancer Teachers Awareness Month, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I want to say my condolences to families who would have lost loved ones to cancer. Breast cancer is one of the number one killers among females. I want to say to those who would have survived, I want to say the road is still long. I know it's tough. You need a friend, you need a shoulder to lean on always, because cancer is not a killer, not just a physical killer, but it destroys your mind, body, and soul. When one is afflicted with that dangerous disease, fear becomes a factor, and fear brings stress, which is the feeder. We tend to want to eat more junk because, when you get depressed, you start to binge, and again, that would feed the cancer. So we create that environment for it to live in. It's the unfortunate thing, because people are not really counseled along that line. Families become fearful, so you can't lean on them. You become fearful because you think it's a death sentence, and all of a sudden your body starts to become stressed, and cancer has a field day because you're feeding it exactly what it wants. And I suppose lots of people don't know that. They don't understand the reality that stress kills. It's not the cancer that kills you, because they don't say, oh, she died from cancer. It is some of the effects that cancer would have on your body, and the failing organs that it would affect, and the pneumonia that it would create. Inflammation that is there, high pain is another thing. Cancer is suffering. You are going to suffer if you give into it. I've seen people, we have survivors, so we know that people can survive cancer. We know cancer is not a killer. It is the state of mind that we put ourselves in, and that is what makes a bad situation worse. My name is Sandra Quilly-Atherton. I'm the host of Your Views. Your Views is a program that is aired on Win FM every Friday morning around this time. It's supposed to be from 10 o'clock, but I just look up on the clock and realize every time I'm ready to speak, the clock is at the same time every morning. Doesn't matter what time you're coming. It's just that time, which no one, I think, that is supposed to be my time, which the conversation is supposed to start. But it's a program that we talk about things that are informative. We try to inform you on things that people don't normally talk about. We are not going to get up into the opinion base and the theoretical base. We look at the facts, and the facts cannot be changed. It's what it is. It's not the way you see it. It's not the way I see it, but it's the way it is. And that is why Your Views is here. This morning, I always bring people, like I said, we are in a situation where it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Health is one of our biggest issues right now. We know COVID-19. Congratulations to those who have brought it to this point. We are 70%. This is 70% of our population is immunized or have had the injection. So we know that we are now in the position where we can say we are completely where herd immunity is, meaning that those who are unable to take the shot would be protected by those who would have gone out and take that jab. And so we hope that our numbers would start reflecting the fact that we're 70% there, and we would start seeing some decline in our COVID cases. But one of the things that I want to say to you guys is that COVID is not going anywhere right now. The only person can control the spread of COVID is us. How do we do that? We follow protocols. We make sure we social distance. It's 6 feet apart. You wash your hands and you wear your mask. The reason for wearing masks is that they said when you talk, those little droplets that come from your mouth can spread. The virus comes through that, and the reason why you have to wash your hands so frequently is because you tend to touch touch areas where people would have touched, and some people who are symptomatic, that is, they're not showing any symptoms of the virus, would have passed through there, and you can't look at somebody in the face and say, oh, you have COVID. Somebody gave me this story where they visited a family member, and the family member just was showing signs of a cold, but because of the fact that she knows that that is some of the symptoms of COVID, she ran for the mask and put the mask on, and it was birthday, and they had a good time, and when they got home, everything was cool, and then all of a sudden here, boom, the person got sick, and they were tested, and they tested positive. So you don't know whether or not somebody is COVID-19 positive, because there are basically, some people don't show any symptoms, and the symptoms mimic common cold or any other thing. There's no specific symptom that said that you have COVID-19. So we have to be careful, and that's one of the reasons why we have to adhere to protocols. And I want to say kudos to the NEOC and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis on a job well done. We have curtailed the problem. They have worked tirelessly for us to be in a situation like this. And I want to say congratulations to the citizens who would have taken that responsibility of going out there and taking that job if they feel like it's the way to control the COVID-19 and protect their loved ones. And it's something that we all have to be in it together, because that is what it is. We have to be teamwork, unity, strength, and we have to know that when we come together as a unified body, we can move mountains. Well, that was enough talk. Let's see if we can get to some of the solutions that we have. Like I talk about cancer, we talk about stress, we talk about all of the ailments, because our bodies are not rid of that. We look at we breathe in toxins, we eat toxins, we put it into our skin with the perfumes and the creams and everything that we put on our skin, the grease that we put in our hair, the oils that we put on that are filled with parabens and other additives and stuff that would cause our body, because our bodies cannot, and I want people to understand this, our bodies can only absorb and digest natural things. So if you put things that are not natural, it's a whole lot of work to do. They don't know where it's supposed to go, so they dump it. Everything is dumped in the bloodstream, and after a while it becomes overwhelmed, and then we become sick. So smelling good is one thing, but you look at the effects of what smelling good brings, Having nice, long, luscious, shiny hair is another thing. But at the end of the day, it's the price that you have to pay for beauty. Beauty comes with a price. We go out, we social eat, we social drink, and we eat stuff like the lobsters and the crabs and the shrimps and the conch. We eat the pork, the beef. We eat those red meats, and at the end of the day, we know it takes about 7 days before meat can actually digest, and it only would do that if you have the proper enzymes to break down that meat in your stomach. If not, it just sits there and rot. Could you imagine having meat on your table for 2 days, not refrigerated, and you see the stench that you find when you come into the kitchen? If you forget it out for 2 days, then exactly what happens inside of your stomach if it's not being absorbed or digested. And then we ask ourselves the question, why are we sick? Good morning, Ajulan, and welcome to Your Views. And we have another guest, Dwight. It's a pleasure to have you. That was a lot of talk, right?
Good morning, Sandra, and good morning to the general public as a whole,
Dwight?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sandra.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. Well, we have Ajulan again, and I'll tell you why I have Ajulan again. Ajulan is somebody that I've seen not just believe in. I don't believe in people. I know he's good. I know he can do what he says he can do. He doesn't heal. Don't get me wrong. What he does, he provides the information for you and the material that you need that would help your body to heal. Your body does that. Your body has to be in an environment or in a position to want to heal itself. And so it doesn't matter how much he gives you if you're not doing what you're supposed to get the other protocols. It's a lifestyle change. It's not about just popping something, because natural medicine you can use it just the same way that you use the synthetic drugs. Because if you become just a taker, and you still eat the sugars, you still eat the meats, you still drink the alcohol, you still smoke, I mean, you're just not doing any
One step
good.
forward, 2 steps backward,
Definitely. So that is one of the reasons why I have Ajulan here. And the reason why we have Dwight here is because I've been talking to Ajulan all the time, and people are saying you're hearing from him, but he have people who we would have helped, who we'd have provided the information to, who he would have counseled. Mr. Patience, he is, Job. Provided that information, and people can now talk about the situations that they've been in. Dwight, you.
Tell me.
You're here because you would have dealt with Ajulan. Turn you have dealt with, turn it around. You have the earpiece. Oh, good. Yeah,
Okay.
it's the fun thing that we have in here sometimes. Okay, well, you have dealt. let general public know about you. I've worked with you in TDC. Always a young, handsome man. Very astute. A guy who, for me, he has always been young, intelligent boy. He was then. He's grown into a nice, handsome man. But life hasn't always been good to you. Right? People always say that, things happen, but life hasn't always been good to you. You have had situations. If you care to tell the public about some of your journey that you've been on.
Okay, thanks again, Sandra, and thanks for having me here this morning. You're correct. You're very correct in saying that life can ambush us at times.
Yes.
You hear people say sometimes you expect the unexpected. But earlier this year, in April, as a matter of fact, I was diagnosed with lung cancer. That became as a surprise to me and to everybody because, according to the doctors, I didn't suit the profile for having lung cancer. And then my life actually took a different turn from there. I sought medical care here in St. Kitts, and I was advised by doctors that the condition of the cancer at the time, it can be removed by surgery. So I had to travel overseas to get surgery done. I was on my way to Cuba, actually, but because of the COVID-19, flights to Cuba were almost impossible. So I ended up stopping in the Dominican Republic, where I got some counseling on the medical practice there, and I understand that it was as good, maybe even better than Cuba. I got some testimonials from persons who traveled there for attention. I got advice from a medical doctor here in St. Kitts who actually studied and lived there for quite a number of years. And so I decided to take my chance, and I went to the Dominican Republic to get medical attention. However, while there, I went to get a tumor removed from my lung, my left lung actually. But during the process, the surgeon discovered another problem, which what they described as a great infection. There was a great infection in my lungs and a huge amount of fluid. So the actual surgery that I went to get done had to be postponed. They had to drain my lungs from that fluid, and if the amount of fluid that came from me could fill one of those $4 plastic bag.
Wow.
That's the amount of fluid that was in my lung. And the infection was really bad. So I was advised that they'll have to treat that first before they can proceed to remove the tumor from my lungs. So I spent about 2 weeks in hospital there for that particular condition. And after being released, then I was referred now to the oncologist down there, who did whatever he had to do, tests. I got about 3 blood tests every day. Wow. I'm no stranger to needles anymore. IV, I had about 2 or 3 different IVs in my hand. And they did what they had to do, and they were very detailed in doing so. While going through that process, I can tell you for sure that if you knew me before I went to the Dominican Republic, if you saw me there, you would not have known me. Wow. Because I lost about 20 pounds, So I was really, I'm not a big person, and for me to lose 20 pounds,
I know.
It was frightening. Mm-hmm. But from April 9th, when the doctors told me that I had cancer, lung cancer, I refused to accept it. Good. I did not accept it. It was a fact, but it's a fact that I did not accept. Mm-hmm. And so I made up in my mind that if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down fighting. Mm-hmm. And that was my mindset. Just about a week ago, I was speaking to a gentleman here who works at the airport, and he was telling me that him and a couple of his colleagues at the airport, when they saw me leaving, in their mind, they said, Dwight is not coming back.
Wow.
That's how bad it was. The oncologist in the Dominican Republic, he gave me about 3 weeks to have that surgery done because I was losing weight so fast, and he said it's because of the tumor that I have to get it removed within 3 weeks. Yeah. Now, back to the surgeon now. The surgeon gave me an option. He said, you have a very important decision to make. You can either have the surgery now before we finish treating the infection, but The downside to it is that you have a 40% chance of having complications.
Wow.
It's either that or you can wait the 3 months first, treat the infection, and then redo the surgery. But within that 3 months, you run the risk of having the tumor spread throughout the body. And if that happens, we cannot do the surgery. You'll just have to be getting treatment, I guess, through radiation or chemotherapy. So in my mind, 40% chance of complication was a bit too high for me.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't willing to take that chance, so I told him I'll take my chance and go to 3 months with the treatment for the infection. And in my mind, I was saying I will have to find a way to control that tumor so that it doesn't spread to the rest of my body. And it's from the Dominican Republic now that I contacted Agilon. I know him as Marcus because somebody gave me his information, and I texted him. I told him everything that happened to me and asked him if there's anything he could do for me. Because chemotherapy, I'm not a fan of that. And I know the doctors in their mind was thinking that would probably be the next step for me. But if they came to me, I would have objected. I'm not a subscriber of chemo. So my other option was try something natural. So I got on to Marcus, and he told me when I get back to St. Kitts, contact him, which I did. After I came out of quarantine and everything, I contacted him, and we spoke. He gave me some advice. He told me what he can offer. And I said, well, anything gonna have to work now, so I'm gonna try whatever it is. You know, when I went to the doctors here, when I came back, I was 119 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, 119
You're a
pounds.
dolly. You're a candy doll.
Yeah, and that was in July. In July.
Of when?
No, June, at the end of June.
2020?
This year, 2021.
This year.
2021, because I was diagnosed in April 2021.
Oh.
That's just about 6 months
Yeah.
ago. So I told him, well, since we're almost at the end of June, give me 1 month supply of your products, and I'll run from the 1st of July and see if I see any results. Yeah, so I started his procedures and his remedies from July 1st. And by the end of July, mid-August, I started to see some results, actually. I went to the doctor, my doctor here, and they were a bit amazed that I was not having the symptoms like the coughing and the other stuff that I was having before.
Well, look how good you're talking. And you would never believe, because lung cancer,
Sandra,
anything with the lungs, you can't talk for.
Sandra,
gas.
I could not have said a sentence.
I'm listening to you to just go
I could
on.
not have said a sentence without coughing or running out of breath. You understand?
Wow.
And that is when I realized that something is changing. Then by the end of August, I was at 145 pounds.
Wow.
I actually gained 7 pounds more than I had on before. You understand?
Wow.
And I was not on any medication. The only thing different that I was doing
I'm
was...
gonna get teary. I'm gonna cry.
No, don't cry now. The only thing different that I was doing, Sandra, was using the remedies from Agilon. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you, well,
It works.
something is working. And if that's the only thing I was doing different, it had to be that been working. In addition to, I had to make some adjustments to my diet. And very importantly, my mindset. Because like I told you from the beginning, I refuse to accept that I have lung cancer. I don't fit that profile. And I would never accept it. I'm not here to declare victory as yet.
No.
I consider myself to be a work in progress. So I don't want anybody to misunderstand me. I'm not declaring victory. I'm still having the condition.
But you're seeing
But
that
I am a
there's-
work in progress.
Yeah.
Another gentleman saw me.
I said to him the other day, we need to really continue the process, not because you're seeing
Results. Yeah.
That's is just a part of the healing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's a lifestyle change. So you're gonna have to. It's something you have to do for the rest of your life.
Not
Because-
necessarily.
No, when I say that, I'm not talking about the medication,
Yeah.
but your way you're changing your mindset, the foods that you eat. Because if one thing got you there, and something else is taking you away in another direction, you have to continue on that direction. Not just using, because medication is not like, herbs is not like the medication. Herbs create healing. Medication creates comfort, But if you're going to be healed and you go back and you start doing the same thing, you're going to get the same results.
But like you said earlier, though, it comes in addition to your mind.
Yes.
A lot of it has to do with your mindset.
It's a holistic approach.
Yeah. And so I am determined to continue trying whatever it takes, because like I say, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down fighting. I still have the option on the table to go back to the Dominican Republic to get myself checked. And if the surgery is absolutely necessary, then I would consider it without that 40% chance of complications. Yeah. But in the meantime, though, I'm living a normal life. I do my exercise every day. I go up the Peninsula Hill every day.
You look good.
I exercise, I eat good, I sleep good, I talk good. I do everything
You're
good.
having a conversation, because when I heard that you had lung cancer, I know anything with the lungs, you have issues breathing and talking. Talking is the first thing you realize, because you realize you can't even finish a sentence without having to take that breath. And even when you take that breath, you have to cough, because that's what it is normally. And I'm listening to you, and you're just so fluent in the things that you say.
Not only that, Sandra, I'll be playing in church on Sunday on my saxophone.
You're not serious. You're not serious. You're not serious.
I'm very
Do
serious.
You're not serious.
I was invited just a couple of days ago to play for some ceremony at Holy City Church there on Market Street. So I'll be performing on Sunday.
You have that lung capacity to do
well,
so?
I've been playing my saxophone. I've been practicing with a band, a newly formed band, with Numpy and some others. And yeah, I've been playing my saxophone.
Wow.
So that is, again, another testimony to me that something is turning around. You understand? So I would hope to continue in that vein. And I want to take this opportunity, Sandra, please allow me to thank everybody who supported me along this way, be it financial, moral, and very importantly, spiritual. I had a lot of people praying for me, and I just want to thank everybody.
I know, Dwight, let me tell you, it's a road. It's a long, lonely, dreary road, but I like, and people don't understand where it starts in your mind. And the fact that you declare that you are not going down without a fight, that's where it starts. A lot of people succumb to the disease because they think that it's a death sentence, because that's what everybody feels. There are people who couldn't afford to pay for treatment and they died, not thinking that there were other alternatives, which is a sad thing. And like it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I've seen people, I've heard their stories where people who would have fought it, because we are natural beings, and therefore we can only be healed by using natural remedies, because our bodies are natural. Our body heals itself. It was designed by the greatest designer, the creator, who understood. If you understand the way your body works, you think that somebody stood there making a design of human beings and decide this has to be that, and that is going to happen. Let's try it. No, it was a one-time thing. So it was greatness in that got us there. Agilan, he's talking about the and you don't. I know you don't like praise because you don't do anything. You always say, let's look at the natural way in opposed to. I mean, we can't, because I'm not going to bash the conventional way, because it has helped some people. Some people believe in it, and again, it's a state of mind. Let's look at the natural way and why natural remedies. Why natural solutions we go to.
Well, as I told Dwight from the beginning to when he contacted me, I mean, is the most important thing, he got to stay positive. Remember I told you that? Just be positive and you're going to overcome whatever. So the positivity, because the mind play a very important role in healing, in the healing process. The mind play a very important role in the healing process. So even though you're getting the herbs, even though we're getting the herbs and everything, you know what I'm saying? Our mind, whereas we receive them open-heartedly, he never questioned. You understand? He never denied. You understand? So some people they come around, they want to know so much things, and they're not trying to address their issues. You understand? So with that now, it gives me more clarity in mind within bringing out energies in terms of healing, because everything works together with the mind also. You understand? Synchronizing, each of us synchronizing. Because dealing with people, I deal with them on an individual basis, and I always try to tell people, the mind have to be right, and if the mind ain't right, we ain't gonna go no further from there, understand?
Yeah, and I was having a discussion we were having a spiritual discussion yesterday with a person who would have had some great experiences about, and we're talking about the different energies and the way us human, normally the ordinary man does not understand it because we have not looked out there. We go out there to look when we are sick, not when we are good. And when you go out there, it becomes way more complex because you're just looking for that solution. But if you on a daily basis start to find out who you are and what gets you here and what keeps you here, you'll have a better understanding of how energies work and how important the mind is. That is where healing starts. It starts in the mind. You have to know it can happen in order for it to happen. When you start to doubt that this can happen, then you start having issues. So addressing the mind is basically the first step to healing, Ajulan?
Yes, that is a very important part because you understand that is how you unite with the herbs, because we is energy, and the plants provide like phytonutrients, phytochemicals. These are energy within the plants. You know what I'm saying? And this is what help our body to really overcome. Because the antioxidants, the free radicals, cancer, and all those type of stuff. So
because that's what cancer is. It's free radicals.
You
Just
know?
going around, running around and doing what they want to do.
So the plants itself, they have the material that our body really needs.
Okay, Dwight, you've used both natural medicine and you've used a conventional way. When you started the natural remedy, how your body felt?
There wasn't an instant change.
Okay.
It happened over a period of time. Then you would realize certain things that
But you felt stronger as you go along.
you felt your energy coming back.
Yes.
Because like I said, I couldn't say a sentence without coughing or running out of breath. But after a while, you realize like it's getting back to normal. The coughing start to subside. You start to feel normal again. And in addition to what Marcus just said, though, and you said it earlier, stress. You got to stay away from stress.
Yeah.
You understand? Me being in the situation that I'm in, because this is my reality now, my reality taught me, don't worry about anything anymore.
Wow.
There's some people in your life, you got to love them from a distance. You understand? There are certain changes in your life that you have to make because, Sandra, nothing changes if nothing changes.
Good.
You understand? So me being in this situation that I'm in now taught me a lot of things. And one of the big things I've learned is to stay away from stress. You understand? And that frees up your mind a lot.
Wow.
And once your mind is free, a lot can happen.
Yeah, because everything happens, and they always said things happens when everything is still and quiet. Your body, that is why sleep is necessary, because when you're sleeping, and that's why doctors induce coma when people are so sick, because your body needs to get away from all of that. It needs to get away from the stress. It needs to be able just to heal itself. And healing takes a lot of energy. And so if you are going to be worrying about what people are saying and how you feel and how this, your body's not going to get a chance to do what it's supposed to do. And so that is one of the reasons why you made that good statement. Stress separates. Your body cannot communicate when there is stress in there. You can't think. Like I told you this morning, I got up and all of a sudden you have brain fog. You don't know what to do because you're stressing. You didn't get a chance to do basically what you're supposed to do. You just got up, you rush, and in your rushing, you're not thinking. You can't think because there's so many things happening. And that is one of the reasons why it's so good to make sure that you avoid stress at all costs.
And could you imagine how I felt walking down 4th Street at 119 pounds, Sandra?
And what people think, huh?
I don't care. I just didn't care.
Wow.
I just did not care. The good thing is that I was still alive, and that is all that mattered to me. And I had hope, because I know what my ultimate goal is. And it's still there because, like I said, I'm still a work in progress, and I'm not there yet. And when I do get victory, I will declare it. Maybe right here on this station. I will declare
And I hope
victory.
it's on my program. I definitely will keep in touch.
Because I am going to have victory. Because there's too much in life for me to accomplish still. I'm not done yet.
Cancer is like a common cold. If you do not treat a common cold, if you don't change your mindset from a common cold, you can move into pneumonia and you can get into other complications. So you treat them the same way. If people think that, but the common cold, we catch it every day. If you don't treat it properly, it can destroy you. So it comes down to having the proper mindset, addressing the situation, understanding it, and just like you said, do not accept it. It is your reality. It's something that you have to deal with like everything else. But when you start to have that added pressure and that added stress, you're complicating the situation. So the best thing is to do, Ajulan, is to make sure that your mind is clear, and the medicine can only work. The herbs can only work, and I wouldn't, it's for healing. It's not medicine, it's food, it's nutrients. Herbs is nutrients, it's what nourish the body. It's not like medicine. I don't like to refer to it as medicine. It nourishes the body, and the body does what it has to do.
But something we're overlooking, though, and that is we also need to have a very good support base.
Yes.
Whether it be family, friends, colleagues, even strangers.
Yeah.
Because quite often, I'm walking down the road, I might be someplace, and somebody will come up to me, "Oh, God, Dwight, so glad to see you." I don't know the person, but I guess they know my situation, and they're so glad to see me. One day I went to a particular bar down in Boyd's, and the owner actually ran and hugged me with tears in her eyes.
Wow.
"Dwight, I saw this thing on Facebook. Dwight, I'm so glad to see you." And things like that give you more power to want to fight even harder.
Positive energy.
Yeah. So when you know that you have a good, strong support base, there are other persons who I know who are survivors of cancer who gave me certain tidbits and stuff that I need to do and stuff like that, which I don't ever have the permission to call their names, so I won't. And once you have that support base, it gives you an added ammunition to fight.
And that's what I said it earlier, we're all in this together, and we have to remember, we have to be a brother's keepers. We have to be a shoulder that one can lean on. We have to take that time out just to have that conversation. People come to me all the time and we have discussions, we talk, and people say, "Sanju, you always want to listen to sad stories." They're not my stories. They don't affect me in any way. It's just to give that person a chance to say what they have to say. And while saying that, you get a chance to tell them something. And if they didn't open up, because you want to encourage people, sickness is not a death sentence. It is not something to be ashamed of. It's having to be able to discuss. When people have cancer, "Oh, how you doing?" "I'm good. I heard." No, that's not true. Why? Why are you afraid? Because some little simple thing you can say that would make a difference. And it upsets me because I lost a friend because of that. I mean, when I was told that, she was diagnosed, and I asked her, she said, "Why people are saying these things? I don't want some people like to mind people's business." And by the time she was ready to talk about it, it was too late. And then, you had to go and fix that mind. You had to get somebody who can talk her and change the mindset. They have provided foods. And then she started to stress she don't have the money. And stress became that factor. Stress was a killer. And so we have to, don't be ashamed of how you feel, or there's something wrong. Simple little things. Somebody got something stung somebody on the foot, and they're afraid to say, what happened to your foot? Nothing. Because they're diabetic, it poses a different problem.
The first step to healing, Sandra and Marcus, the first step to healing is acceptance. You have to accept your reality. Do not accept the sickness, but accept the reality.
The position that you're in at that time.
And if you cannot openly say, "This is what I have," because I was on Facebook, it was all over the world, Dwight has lung cancer.
I didn't know that.
Okay, so what?
I didn't know that, Dwight.
No?
No, I don't get caught up in social media like that. I didn't know. When I was talking to him, he didn't even tell me who the name of the person was. And then when he told me who it was, I was like, "Dwight?"
Yeah.
Dwight Huggins?
And that's when I
Yeah, I didn't know that you I didn't know, because I don't really get into that.
Well,
and as I ask you if you don't mind, coming and talk.
I don't mind
I
at
was
all.
impressed.
And persons who don't know me, if they see me now, they would not think that I have lung cancer.
But you don't look so. Your skin is so much better. Well, I think it makes you look better, though.
You get some good medicine to me.
Yeah, your skin looks so clean, so good. I'm looking at you. You look like a reborn. You look like a baby skin. Your face is nice and clean. There's nothing cancerous about you.
I mean, when we were going through the process, when I gave him his stuff there, man, after I came back and I saw him say how he was and everything. I didn't know him before and everything, but I mean, when we first met,
Mr. Handsome he was, huh?
And then I smile and he's still smaller than me,
Yeah.
right? So
wow.
And you were telling me about bringing up blood and all this type of stuff, and you understand. So I tell him, man, just in this thing, just be positive. We're going to overcome this.
And that's Adjunant's
You
role. He
understand?
always do that. He always
Just be
he
positive.
creates that environment of positivity.
Yeah, because that goes with the healing. Many people come to me, what in this, what in that?
Yeah.
Every time you start to ask me those type of questions, right? You start to throw me off.
Yeah.
And my mind,
Because then you don't trust the medicine. When you start to
Definitely.
question it, it means that you don't trust it.
you understand?
Sandra, I don't even know the name of the remedies that he gave me.
But then you don't know what's in there.
The only question I asked is how much do I take?
Right.
And
When do I
do I
take?
take?
And that was it.
That was the most
know,
important thing. And then by
nothing
that,
else.
he get more information.
And that's the same thing with me. I just bring it and I just drink it.
Mm.
I have a good idea of what plants and what they do because we have the discussion. But I know, I trust, and I tell people, it's not about trusting Agilon. It's just trusting the fact that the herbs, they're herbs, they're natural, and they're going to do what they're supposed to do. He has a good idea of how to mix them because you don't mix herbs just to get up and just start to boil and drink. So even if he tell you what's in there, you just don't, because a lot of people want to know and go and grab it and do it. It's not like that. Herbs, you have to create, you do it in love, and the energy that he puts in it, because it's from his energy that helps to, the healing process. So you might go and boil it with your sick, sad energy, and you're drinking the same sick, sad herbs. But when somebody can create that positive environment in which the herbs are prepared, because people don't know that it is the environment in which the herb is prepared that creates a solution to the problem or the healing in the body. It's a holistic approach.
Your healing and me healing is both
Two different-
energy sharing. I take energy from you, and it's the same type of situations. Because if you start to stress the mind ain't gonna operate right. You know what I mean? So from the mind again stress, then you could get clarity in the healing process.
And the healing process is so much things that you have to do. What Adjunant approaches, he talk about the detoxification of the body, because you have to get rid of that bad stuff that is in there that created the problem in the first place. So you have to get it out, and in order to do so, you go through the process of detoxification. He gives you herbs that is going to do the cleansing first, because it's not about you don't just go in and fix. And that's why it took some time before you start to recognize that something is happening, because it has to go through the process of cleaning, preparing, getting rid of that bad stuff, getting rid of the old habits that you have, because they're taking out the bad habits that you'd have had too. So it goes with the bad habits, it goes with the nights that you don't sleep, because he addressed that, the time in which your body needs to go to. It goes with the taste, it takes away the taste for bad food, because that again has created a problem. So it goes through a whole process of doing what it's supposed to do, and then in the process of doing that, the healing is taking place. Because healing comes in a different environment. You can't have the same environment to have the healing taking place.
But not only that, to Sandra, we need to be honest with people in telling them that even though you have to change your diet and you have to cut out certain things, don't expect that it's going to happen overnight, because here it is. I still like my KFC chicken, I still like my raspberry fried fish.
Who doesn't?
Right? And those things are not compatible with my condition,
Yeah.
but over time, I'll get over it.
And you would not be able to go back to KFC chicken and raspberry
I
fried fish
know.
on a daily basis.
Over
You
time.
might be able to cheat now and again. which I wouldn't-
Yeah, I do cheat now and again. I have a Guinness now and again, which I'm
Okay.
not supposed to.
Yeah.
But I cheated. But
Yeah.
again, once your mind is
Before that,
comfortable.
you become conscious.
Yeah.
He become conscious now, of how to deal with the situation.
Yeah.
So he would know when to put a limit within himself.
If your body's in a good place, if your body can get rid of that, and that's what I tell people, when your body becomes diseased is when it becomes overwhelmed. So you have a habit of going down by the bar, having 6, 7, 8 Guinness, expect your body to get rid of all of that one time, and expect you to wake, when you're done, do that walk down the road normal. That is one of the reasons why people become intoxicated. It's a sign that the body can't deal with this anymore, but we give it some more, and then after a while the body breaks down. So the body shows you sign before you wake up in the morning with a hangover. It's telling you, I didn't like what you did last night, and these are the consequences you have to suffer. But yet still, we do it again, and we the same thing. So after a while, the body's going to shut down. So if you're it's not that before you were taking it, it worked well because it was not overwhelmed. But you go through the process now, you're cleansed, and just like you say, it's not just about eating right. It's just not about sleeping enough. It's about creating a holistic situation where your mind can do a lot of the work, and then Agilant's job will become a lot like, I mean, he likes it, huh? He enjoys doing that. That's one of the good things about Agilent. And, you know, one of the things that I like about him, that you call him, you see, Dwight, you call him, as long as you link with him, he's going to follow through. He's one of those kind of people who, Marcus of the Woods, I call him.
He's quite reliable. And,
Yeah,
like you said, once you get in touch with him, if you don't get him, he's going to get back to you.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm good. You know.
And you're in a safe place. You're in good hands. Actually, you know, we're looking at cancer. Like I said, this month is October. October is the month of where we become aware of breast cancer and other cancers and other ailments. We have chronic diseases like blood pressure, and if you can address the situation of cancer, people think it's an automatic death sentence. How much easier it is to address situation of those chronic diseases that we walk around with on a daily basis. Hypertension, I can give a testimony to that, where I was supposed to be on blood pressure pills. Everybody look at your size and think, okay, cool, that you're supposed to be a diabetic, but because of the fact that I have actually the person I can call and say, look, I have this situation and I want to know what do I do, and you start taking the herbs. My only problem is that I am not consistent enough. Ajlan, can I make that?
No problem.
Yeah, I can say that I am not consistent enough, and I can't get into the habit of doing it. I look at my son Javier, and when you talk about a mind of steel, is this child that I have. If you know what my son eats and why he keeps away, and it's developing habits of not. Javi doesn't eat meat. Javi doesn't use flour. He doesn't do sugar. He doesn't do anything that is artificial. He eats quinoa and green vegetables, no meat whatsoever. And this is a man who would eat chicken if you take it out the fridge. KFC was his name. He spent his whole year's salary on KFC chicken. I mean, I could not believe that my son was able to just decide that he was gluten intolerant, he had asthma, he had all of the works. We spoke to Ajlan. Ajlan provided, some of the herbs that you have to, because he likes that. He's now stuck on that. And on a regular, daily basis, and people ask him, he's not a vegan because he says that. He's way beyond that. He's an alpha. He doesn't eat anything. I always say that to him. But you find the good things in the fruits, the fruit smoothies, the greens, the quinoa that has all of the nutrients that in there, and the green juices, and actually compilation of different juices that he bring on a regular basis, and those tinctures that you drop on your tongue, that when you think you feel like you're out of it, and it makes you feel alive again. And it was, kudos to him. That would change the mindset. And anybody who could have done that to my son, I think that, it's he's not God. He's not a miracle worker, but he's the kind of person that you can go to, and he would help out the situation. He have helped. You're not the only person that he would have helped. He would have helped situations. People. This guy was telling me about his mother. I'm referring to him as guys and people. His mother, and when I saw her, I could not believe. I couldn't, because I was just waiting to hear, that such and such is past, strokes and everything else. And you look at the person now, you can't believe that. When you told me Agilent worked on her, I couldn't believe it. But Agilent doesn't really, it's you she had the correct mindset. She understood that she wanted to be healed. She knew it was a possibility because your body can do that. But she just needed the tools that would help her to get there. And he provided them, just like he did for you. Agilent, and I know that you always don't like people to recognize you as a healer, because you're not, and I'm not going to tell you that you are. But I'm grateful that you would have provided, and you can be of assistance to people, and you're local. If somebody else from far would have come, and people here would have supported them, because that's what we do. We always look at the foreigners and we don't look at what we have here. We have the everything that is necessary. Tell them about the plants that we have here that can do what they're supposed to do. I was talking to him about a plant that I was looking for skin. It's a plant that is good for my condition, for a thyroid issue. And when we started talking about it, and he brought this thing to me. No, I knew that's what I wanted to get. And he brought this tea to me, and I asked him what's in there, and he told me the same thing that I was looking for. And I'm like, where did you get it? And when he showed me what it was, good flower that we use for decoration. When he showed me what it was, and then I went and I looked at it, I'm like, no, this guy is too good. I mean, I've been looking for this for the longest while. I bought the tablets, which you don't want it because I don't like tablets, because tablets have a lot of preservative, and most of the time it doesn't even have any ingredients that's in there. So when he brought it and he showed it to me, and I said, you're not serious. You're not. It's there all this time, and for many years I've suffered because I didn't even know. But it's a plant that everybody have in their yard.
Big farmer using them, you know what I mean? And we have them right here, you know?
And they give it that name. So when I asked him about it, he said, when I tell him, I said, well, you know what one you find for me, Agilon, is this. He said, but this is what's in the bottle.
Firstly.
Yeah. I tell people, when I was like, I can't believe it. Another time, him and I was talking about this one, Gynostema. And I'm telling him, I'm looking for this thing called Gynostema. I can't even find it on Amazon. He said, come and show you where it is. And so we have all of these, and Gynostema is a plant, just like Spanish needle. They can address so much things. All of these blood clots, the ailments that we have, the diabetes, the high blood pressure.
We got cat claws here.
Cat claw is another one. Cat claw is a herb that can do wonders to your body. It get rid of all inflammation. Inflammation is what causes most of the problems.
Help with autoimmune conditions. And
lupus and Hashimoto's disease, all of those diseases that we are walking around saying that they cannot be cured, the information is here.
We have the plants, but if people make themselves available. I mean, I also run tests on myself, but by doing that, it creates a conflict of interest. You know what I mean? But it's trying to experience, because you got to sample the herbs them to know the strength, the condition, if
dosage,
the sweet, the acid, the bitter, you understand? And, so that's a part of it, you know what I mean? But, understanding the herbs and how to apply them is very important and everything too.
And that's why I tell people, it doesn't matter that you know what's in there. Don't ask what's in there, because if you even know what's in there, you don't even know how to prepare it. You don't know how to extract it. And again, you don't create, because people feel like, if you tell me what's in there, I know what plant to use always, but I still call Agilon. Agilon, I want 2 bottles of tea, because I depend on his strength, on his energy. It creates a different environment until you get to that point where, because people just take the plants, throw them in some water and boil them. I can tell, I was picking some plant one night, and this girl was in the car, and she heard me asking the tree nicely, can I have some of your leaves? And I hope it's beneficial for what I'm. And she thought it was crazy. I'm like, why? She said, was that you talking to? I said, yeah, because I'm just taking off it. It's not mine. And you have to be good, because they provide all of this healing for us. But we never recognize that. We just go randomly pick them and just go and throw them in some water, and we just drink them. But plants are living things.
Living things are sensitive.
They have the same.
They know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. They change the chemical component. You know what I mean?
To suit you. To assist you. And people don't know. Yes.
To defend themselves from being overforaged from the animals. You
know what I mean? And you see, he knows that. So we who are just thinking that plants are just there for us to, like a lady, I told a lady, why don't you start to drink some cinnamon tea? Because she has diabetes. I said, start taking it. It does a lot of good. She said, I take it all the time. I said, how you prepare it? I just put it in. I said, you see, you don't just do things. If you want to be healed, you have to create that energy, that mindset, and become one with what you're going to be using, with the cinnamon stick, with the moringa bush. Because everybody drinking moringa. And I said, well, I'm not feeling anything with moringa. What are you looking for? You don't even know what you're looking for, but you're not feeling anything. But you have to have an understanding. It's just not just that. And that's why I respect Agilon. He lives in the mountain. He lives among his people, the plants, and he enjoys it. I couldn't do that.
That's the life to live.
But Agilon, I want to thank you, and I publicly do so. People don't know you. People doesn't know of you, but we have you. You're here in St. Kitts. You can provide that, and I want to thank you, Dwight, for coming and talking about your situation, because there are a lot of people who don't talk about the situation. There are a lot of people who got healing and never came forward because they don't want people to know that they were sick. We are all sick beings, mentally, sometimes physically, but we're sick. We are a sick set of humans walking around this planet Earth. And so I don't know why people are afraid to talk about some of the things that they would have experienced. And I'm grateful for you that you would have come and we could have had this discussion. And you would have helped somebody who have a situation, who think that, they are just waiting to die, waiting for those things to come and take you. It doesn't have to be that way.
Nope.
Yep. And breast cancer month around, and We could help people with breast cancer also, you know what I mean? Because I done that already too, but I don't really say too much to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you have to talk to Adjulant. But
Well,
again, people who want, you don't want people to come to you because you tell them to come. People have to want it. You see what Dwight said? Dwight contacted you from Santo Domingo because he wanted it and he came and he saw the difference after, and you were not taking any medication at all.
Well, while I was over there, I was taking medication, but when I got home,
And you were still breathing bad. But you
yeah,
were,
yeah.
And you came home and you started taking the natural meds. Because I just want people to hear this. You start taking the natural herbs and you see what it does.
I still have a bunch of medication that I brought home with me, but I just stopped taking them.
But when I tell people I don't even take an aspirin, they look at me like, I don't do drugs. I don't. I think your body is natural. And I'm not bashing doctors because they've studied well and they are good practitioners. And but you don't bash them because they've helped. But I think that medicine has its place. But as for us as humans, we are natural beings. And if our bodies were designed to help itself, and that's why I tell people, I don't want anything that is going to alter what God did. God is the greatest physician. And if he built you and he made you in a way that you can fix yourself. He didn't create doctors when he created Adam and Eve. If Christians believe the Adam and Eve story, there were no doctors there. He put them in a garden and he says, of all these trees, you can eat every single thing. Why? Because this is how you're going to grow. But one tree he told them not to eat of, and humans disobeyed. And it's the same thing we are doing now. We are disobeying. We are not going to the herbs for healing. We are going to all of those synthetic medication that is creating, it tries to fix one problem and creates a myriad of problems. Because let me tell you something, later on you would see people take these steroids that would affect your liver and your kidney just because you want to solve a sinus problem. You know, and it's what we've been doing over the years, and we have to start to change our mindset and look to what we have here. We pull up, he gave me some greens. I told him I wanted to make, not a salad, I wanted to make a stew. Oh, it's so good. And he gave me things we used to give for hogs to eat, hog meat.
Yeah, very rich, you know, very nutritious.
I was shocked.
Everything, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is good food, the superfoods, them, porcelain and all them there. This is the superfood, them, you know, rich in antioxidants and them type of stuff. And we neglecting them, you know.
Yeah.
We go and we buy kale and all those type of stuff, but we got them right in the yard, you know.
What I would want to say in closing, Sandra, is that the most difficult part of the herbal remedies and stuff like that is ourselves. That's the most difficult part. You have to be able to come to terms mentally with what you want and believe in this is going to work for me. You have to have that mindset. And to me, that's the most difficult part. Because if you're not mentally challenged or mentally fit to have these herbs, it's not going to work.
And I heard you use the word believe. It's not believing, it's knowing that it can work for you. Because a lot of times we believe and then they're doubt creeping. But if you know it's going to work, it's going to work. Yeah. If we try to eliminate the word believe, life is going to be different. Trust me.
But I think that you have to start believing. And then
knowing.
knowing.
Well, that's you. But I know, I trust them. So because I trust it, I know it's going to do what it's supposed to do. And I'm grateful, like I said, Dwight, for having you. And Adjulant, we are out of time. I'm infringing as usual. It's always a pleasure, and it's coming to the end of the month, the term, the time in which people think that you have to be aware of this. It's a daily thing. It happens all the time. So you're supposed to be aware of this every day of the year. So it's not just October. It's good that somebody would set aside a month, but it's for us to now start looking at our health and realizing that these things are becoming too frequent. We have too many people who have been afflicted. We thought it was American disease, and the reason why I thought it was a disease for America, because of the foods that we are now eating the American foods. We're not eating the ground provisions that we were accustomed to. We're eating the tin stuff. I'm not going to call names because I got myself in trouble, but we're eating all those processed foods, and that is what is posing a lot of the issues. Our bodies, people are roasting food on using gas. And our body has to ingest that petroleum. It's gas that what you put in your car. Our bodies are ingesting it and having to get rid of it. So there's a lot of things that we are doing that we are not even aware of. And so thank God it's October month in Adjulant. I want you to encourage, tell the people what to do and what they have to become aware of so that you don't have to have problems of helping sick people, but the joy and gladness that you get from just assisting people to nourish themselves.
How to start that now, boy? Well, you know, the service that I provide basically, you know what I mean, is to help to rebuild your body, detoxify, you know, and strengthen back up, you know what I mean? That's the procedure, you know, you got to sweep out the house, clean up everything, and put back in what's needed to go back inside and, you know, keep the house strong and firm. So that's what community treatment package is basically, you know, detoxifying and strengthening back up and them type of stuff, you know what I mean? Circulation, blood purifiers, you know what I mean?
We do that to our vehicles, and so I suppose we can start spending some time with ourselves.
Well, next time I come here, Sandra, I want to touch on the whole aspect of PCOS, because a lot of people been calling me about those type of situations there, fibroids and like woman health, you know what I mean? So I could give them a little.
And PCOS, let me tell people who don't know, it is a problem that a lot of women have and you're not aware of. So people who have menses issues, periods that don't come on time, people who have a lot of dysmenorrhea, that's pain when you're having your menstrual period, people who have difficulty conceiving or who cannot seem to hold, who have, you know, abort or miscarriages. These are signs and symptoms of polycystic ovarian syndrome. That's what PCOS stands for. If you have situations like that, definitely, Ajulan, we're going to have that discussion. And we have herbs in which you can do that. I had to contact you recently for that same situation. And it worked. It did work. It is working. We are, you know, we're work in progress. It is a work in progress, and it's working. So I am out of time. I am not going to do this anymore. For those of you who have been in tune with the, this program, and for those of you who are not in tune, you want to go back to your to tell a friend. It's pre-recorded, so therefore you can go on to WinFM 98.9 and look for your views. Today is the 22nd of October, and you'll be able to go to that program again in its entirety and have a good understanding of people's experience and what you can do. All hope is not gone. As a matter of fact, we have, it's not hope, we have the knowledge that these things it would happen, but you can fix them. So we know that it can be fixed, and the fact that COVID is still here is another way of dealing with COVID naturally. We can find solutions to that. Lots of solutions for COVID naturally. Lots of it. CAT score is one of those good things that you can talk about. We can talk about those things on a later date. We can talk about so many things, but we don't have the time. But it's Friday. It's a time that people want to go and dance, and we have missed that out. A lot of people are missing out on the entertainment side of it. Dwight wants his band to be able to get those little gigs again that you used to have, but it's getting there because we are 70%. Basically, our population is 70% vaccinated, so we have that herd immunity status we have reached, and so I suppose sooner or later, more sooner than later, we're going to see places open up. But I want to remind you that COVID is still a reality, and we can still contract the virus, not because 70% of people have been vaccinated. We know vaccinated can and unvaccinated can, so we still ask you to exercise caution, follow the protocols, that is making sure that you use hand sanitizers, wash your hands as often as possible, wearing the mask stops you from spreading, and social distance. You say 6 feet apart. I can hear you, you can hear me. Why do we have to get so close? Let's start practicing that, and we can think it's the place that it used to be. It's the tourist attraction that we want to have. We still have the beaches there. We still have the good people that we can give, and we need to start building our economy. My name is Sandra Quilliatterton. It was a pleasure being here, and I look forward to doing this next week, Friday. It's not going to be the same people, unfortunately. I do hope, because I have somebody else that I have slated for next week, Friday. But Angela, I'm going to get you back in as soon as possible, maybe the week after, so that we can talk about PCOS and how we can fix it. That's what I prefer for my program, to talk natural, and I do hope one of these days I can have a program. I am working towards that, to making sure that my program is about natural remedies and how we can start to look in the right direction. Enjoy the rest of the day. Stay tuned to WinFM 98.9. Voices is up next.